One of my biggest pet peeves, when I see real estate agents working with a buyer and they are constantly saying, hey, let me check with my mortgage broker, or let me get in contact with my mortgage broker, or let me set up an email introduction with my mortgage broker. Guys, girls, you are giving up your business to somebody that got their license in a week. I'm not saying mortgage brokers aren't great. And if they're good, hold on to them. What I'm saying is you're the quarterback of this deal. Your job is to earn the client's trust. So the point is not to make an introduction to a mortgage broker. The point is to earn their trust, show them the steps, then make the introduction to the mortgage broker. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. All right, one of the things that I teach real estate agents that I coach is simply to earn the prospect's trust. Once they become your client, earn your client's trust even more, build a community so you can get repeat and referral business. If you are a realtor or just anybody in sales and entrepreneurship that wants to know how to build an awesome book of business filled with repeat and referral clients, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments. Give me a like. It doesn't cost you a cent. And I will make sure I get that information in this ecosystem. But let's get back to this video, which is all about mortgages. You need to know exactly how a mortgage works in your area. Okay? I know how it works in my market. You need to know how it works in your market. Why do you need to know, you ask? If you're sitting in front of a buyer, okay, buyer Bill, and buyer Bill wants to buy a house, it's not the house that he wants to buy. It's not the house that you're going to show him. It's how you articulate yourself as a professional, how you earn Bill's trust. That's going to signify if they're going to use you to help them buy the house. You get it? The house is the house, man. You can go find that stuff on the internet. They need a professional that's going to guide them the right way, because it could be a very scary situation to spend all this money on an asset. So when you are qualifying the buyer, when they are talking about the financing, when they're talking about the mortgage, when you're pre-qualifying them, I want you as a realtor to go over it. And yes, that means you have to ask the hard questions. You have to ask them about their money. Don't be a coward and put that to your mortgage broker. If you go to a doctor and the doctor, you have a cough or a sore throat, and you see the doctor is going to ask you, hey, do you smoke? Do you drink a lot of alcohol? Hey, what's wrong with your throat? Tell me your symptoms so they can help you. That's what professionals do. If you go to an accountant during tax time, they're going to say, what are your expenses? How much money did you make? That is what professionals do. They do a diagnosis of your situation. They're not scared to ask. So why are realtors afraid to ask about personal information like finances? You need to know. You have the right to know, and that's what professionals do. So let's go through the scenario. All right, I'm working with a buyer. And then we're talking about 4-bedroom houses. Now, at some point, I'm going to have to ask the buyer, hey, buyer Bill, have you gotten pre-qualified at the bank? Do you know how much money you can afford, how much house you can afford? Have you got your pre-qualification done and your mortgage done? Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, buyer Bill, I know that you're good, but in order for me to get you the best house at the best price, I need to know what that amount is. Okay, and most people won't even say we're good. They'll just say, no, we don't know, or yeah, we need help. Now it's your job to earn their trust. And this is how we're going to do it. And this is how the mortgage process works in my marketplace. So you can't follow this verbatim. You have to do some homework and see how it works in your marketplace, but it's going to be close. So we get to the financing part, and so when I do my analysis, I ask them, okay, what kind of house do you want? What area? What schools? All that kind of stuff. Different video for a different day. Then I get into pre-qualification. I say, okay, buyer Bill, we need to know how much you can qualify for. And the reason why I have to qualify you is because if I can qualify you now, right, I'm going to know two things are going to happen. I'm going to know exactly which houses to show you, but better yet, we have more of a negotiating tool because we are ahead of the game. And when we put in an offer, we will know that we're qualified for X amount of dollars. So we don't have to put a financing condition in there, which gives me leverage to bring down the price. Buyer Bill, you probably want a good price for the house that you buy, correct? Yes. Okay, so let's go through the process. So let me explain to you, pause for a second. Most people will say, okay, here's my mortgage broker's card. Don't do that. This is how you're going to earn their trust, and this is how you're going to get their business now, and this is how you're going to build raving fans. This is how this buyer Bill is going to tell his family, his friends, his coworkers that you're the best because you do simple things like this. Ready? Let's go. So buyer Bill, I'm going to show you exactly how the mortgage process works here. All right. So you are informed. And once you're informed, I will give you to a professional that I worked with that is really good at doing this stuff. But you need to know what you're in for because I am your quarterback. I am your point of business. So any questions you have about anything real estate, you contact me. And here's what you're looking forward to. Okay. So when you get a mortgage, your lending institution is going to look at 4 key criteria. They're going to look at how much of your own money you're going to be putting into the house, so your down payment. They're also going to look at whoever's on title. Bill, if it's you and Jen, your wife, both on title, they're going to look at your household income. So how much income do you personally make? All right, so your down payment, your income. They're going to look at your credit score. They're going to look at your credit and see, how good of a person you are in terms of being credit worthy, right? So they're going to look at your credit. The fourth thing they're going to look at is they're going to look at your liabilities. That means other debts that you have. Why are they going to look at these 4 things? Well, what they're trying to figure out is 2 ratios, the GDS ratio and the TDS ratio. GDS simply stands for, Bill, don't worry. If you're confused, don't worry. You just need to know the outline. I got your back in this. I'm going to make sure we go through the whole process correctly. The GDS ratio is your gross debt service ratio. All right. And basically TDS is your total debt service ratio. So let's go to GDS for a second. Your GDS cannot be more than 39% in this marketplace for a conventional loan. I'm assuming Bill's going to put 20% down. It changes a little bit if it's an insured loan. Different video for a different day. Keep following, subscribe, and we'll get to that. So your gross debt service ratio is basically this. What they're saying is 39% of your income can go towards your house. So what are the things that they look for in your house, believe it or not? In our marketplace, they're going to look at your principal and interest payments of your mortgage. Okay, they're going to look at property taxes. They put that in the equation of all that 39% of your total income. It cannot be more than 39%, okay, gross debt service ratio. So your principal and interest, your property taxes, believe it or not, they look at your heat in this marketplace, your heating costs, and they're going to look at your condo fees if it's a condo or if you have a unit with any fees. Those 4 things put together cannot be higher than 39%. That's the ratio of your income. That's going to spit out your pre-approval. Now let's go to total debt service ratio. Your total debt service ratio is everything the GDS included plus other debts like your car loans, your credit card loans, All of that mixed together, everything that was on your GDS plus your other loans cannot be higher than 44%. So when they take those 4 key criterias and they're looking for your GDS, they're going to spit it into, like, usually the banks and lenders in my marketplace, they use something called FileLogix. They spit it into FileLogix. Out are going to spit these 2 numbers, your GDS and TDS, and voila, they're going to know how much of a house that you would be qualified for. Let me pause. That was my role play. That is exactly how you should do it. How many of you are doing that right now? And how many of you are simply just saying, hey, talk to my mortgage broker? There is levels to this, man. I want them to think, yo, this guy knows this stuff. I'm earning their trust. So not only do they think I'm a rock star and I'm going to have their best interest, I'm doing this the right way. They're also going to be raving fans. Now watch this. This is the part that gives you a lot of people the creeps, the chills, the fear. Scared. Don't be scared. Watch what I do next. Okay, buyer Bill. Let's get into it. And I've been doing this for so long, I can kind of give you an idea right now. So, when it comes to down payment, how much of your own money are you going to put towards a house? Oh, we have $200,000 saved up. Perfect. So you're going to use $200,000. In my quick math, if that's 20% down, they can afford $1 million, like quickly, right? Okay. So now if they afford $1 million house, they're putting $200,000 down. I got to figure out, well, my mortgage broker can figure this out, but in my mind, here's what I'm doing. So this $800,000 loan that they're going to have, let's go further. Okay, buyer Bill. So tell me, how much are you and your wife, Jen, because let's say Jen's are both going to be on title of this home? Yes, of course. Okay, perfect. So what is your income and what is Jen's income? Pause. I am not afraid to ask financial questions. You should not be afraid to ask financial questions. If you go to an accountant, they got to ask you financial questions. If you go to get life insurance or you're investing in mutual funds, they need to know your portfolio. You are helping them invest in their biggest asset potentially. Why are we afraid to ask for their financials? When I'm at a listing appointment, I also ask them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is your current mortgage balance? I need to know that. What are your line of credits? What are your debts? What are you looking to do? If you're selling, you're going to pay off your mortgage. You're going to roll it into a new house. Is it assumable, that mortgage? Guys, there's many questions because if it's a $600,000 house and their mortgage is $550,000, well, I got to do my due diligence and make sure that the cooperating broker has commission involved and they're going to get paid and I'm going to get paid. But more importantly, I got to look after the best interests of the seller. So if they have too much equity in the house, so they can invest in other places. That $600,000 house, imagine the mortgage is $100,000. Now they have $500,000 in equity. And maybe they don't need to sell the house. And one of my options will be like, hey, why don't you keep this house and let's use that equity to buy an investment property? Whatever. The point is you got to be the pro. And how are you going to be the pro if you don't know their financial information? Because if you don't know that, you can't guide them properly. So yes, I'm going to ask them their down payment. I'm going to ask them how much money they make. And then watch this. So buyer Bill, do you have an idea of your credit score? No, we don't. Okay, here is a link. Go onto this link and you can pull your own credit score. If you can pull that out for me today or when you get home, or you can do it right now, it takes a few minutes, and then I can see your credit rating. And Jen should do it too. Guys, don't be scared to do this step. It's actually going to help the mortgage broker. Watch this. Bill, the reason why I want you to pull it yourself first is we can make a napkin assumption of what kind of loan you would get. And when you go out to different lenders and they keep pulling your credit for you, it does affect your credit score. So I rather look at it now, give you a sense of it, and then we can kind of give it to the lender that we like so they can pull it again, because it's a requirement for them to pull it, but we don't want it pulled 5, 6, 7 times. That's the truth. And that's what professionals do. Also, Bill, in your credit report, I'm going to see your other debts that are showing, maybe your car payments and all that stuff. And I can give you a good suggestion on what to do in order to qualify for more of a house, or maybe we don't need to do anything. And sometimes, like, that $200,000 down payment might be better used where you can pay off $50,000 loans and only put $150,000 in your house. It won't affect the payment too much, the monthly, or you can use that $50,000 and, let's say you put $150,000 down. Instead of putting $200,000 in the house, use that $50,000 for a rainy day fund. So you guys aren't all zapped from your bank account. They're liking me now. I'm giving them options. I can only do that when I get to the bottom of the financials. So here's the point. You as a sales professional have to be the expert. And what experts do is they guide their clients. We help them make money. In order for us to help them make money, we have to know how much money we are working with. We have done this before. Now, how different is this scenario that we just went through compared to if I just say, hey, get in touch with my mortgage broker? Well, first of all, leaving them on the island, buyer bills on an island, he doesn't know what's going to happen. At least I'm preparing him what the mortgage broker is going to ask for. Their down payment, their income, their credit score, their liabilities, which is both going to be on their credit report. I've explained to them what GDS and TDS ratios are. They're probably going to go home and ChatGPT, Google it, become the experts at it, especially if they're S&C personality types. I'm giving them information. I'm earning their trust. So now when we go out to look at homes, they're also going to say, okay, I want to listen to Rick. At the end of the day, after you meet them a couple of times, you want to be the person that's like, okay, let me listen to Rick. You know how many times I've been on these appointments and they're asking me, hey, what do you think? That's what you want. And now you can actually guide them, right? And then they go tell their friends, hey, man, if you're buying a house, you got to contact Rick. He really helped us. And, this is beyond scope of this video, but being the pro is also knowing macro and microeconomics so you can help them in investments. You have to know all that stuff. Interest rates, inflation, unemployment rate. You have to know all of those things in the macro level. On the micro level, you have to know days on market in a specific neighborhood that you farm. You have to know list to sell ratio. You have to know all the deals that are in the marketplace, the new inventory, how many months of inventory. Because when you can relay this message to your prospect, they're going to turn into a client. And now they're going to become your raving fan. And let's say you get them into a good property in a good market, and now after a few years they made money. This is how you get repeat and referral business. Hey, Bill, now you made some money. Let's expand your portfolio. Or, hey, Bill, man, you made money. Like, do you know anybody else in your, in your directory that you can refer me to? Guys, it's just not that hard. Earn their trust. When it comes to mortgages, this is a great and easy way to open up the conversation, and all you really have to do is walk them through the process before you hand them over to the mortgage expert. Let them know what they're in for. You have earned their trust. You have gained their business. You have gained their future repeat and referral business, all from watching this video. So if this gave you some value, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Let's see you on the next one.